G'day and welcome back to WTF with Angela Heise, Dr. Chris Willems and myself, Alan Stevens. Today we're talking about responding to our devices in any form that may be. Angela, you observed a phone call the other day or a situation the other day. Would you like to tell us about that?
Yes. I was in an organization and the CEO had resigned and the new CEO was going to be introduced. Now, the old CEO was very popular. She was a very personable person. And she spent a lot of time building her team and created an amazing culture. So the new CEO came in, who had a background in sports and teams and, things like that. And he got us all to stand in the big meeting room. And he was just giving his first introduction, and I was standing there, and it was going to be really interesting because it's always interesting to see how people react to a new person, especially when they're in such an important position. So I listened to him, and in the middle of when he was in the middle of, introducing who he was and what he was going to do and all of that, his phone rang. And he looked at it and he said, "Excuse me for a minute," turned around and walked off. And everybody was completely stumped. I mean, I think everybody knows how to pick up a phone, but we also know when there's a time when not to do that, hopefully. But this was just disastrous, absolutely disastrous, because people just, the eye rolling and the really, he lost respect right from the bat. And that's I just went, oh, do we have to do this? Do we really have to do this? This is why I'm so passionate about human skills. We're all supposed to know them, but nobody teaches us. That's why we're here.
Well, indeed, and the three of us have complementary skills in that human communication, which is why we're having these discussions. Absolutely, and the response that the executive got was, oh my, yeah, rolling eyes and how stupid. But imagine if he'd said, yeah, answer, sorry, I can't take your call now, bang, I'll call you back later, bang. Put it back in his pocket and continue the presentation. That would have, the attitude towards that CEO would have been vastly different, I imagine.
And if he had prefaced it with, "Oops, I forgot to turn off my phone," that would have been even better. Ideally, when you know that you're going into a situation where your phone, your messages, whatever it is, can interrupt you, put the thing away. Put it somewhere where you can't hear it buzz, where you can't feel it buzz, where it doesn't detract from it doesn't move your attention. Because, I mean, I always say this in workshops when people said, unless there are buildings burning, women are in labor, lives have to be saved, please put your phones away. Otherwise, let me know why you need the phone. And then please take off the vibration. Because if you put your phone on the table, which is often connected, the moment that thing buzzes, everybody's attention is going to go there.
Yes, indeed, absolutely. And you can make a real statement being in a meeting about that without saying anything in a meeting. If you've got your phone and it's visible, that you make sure it's visible, that you turn it upside down, put it face down on the desk, or you put it away so it can't buzz. But that's making a subtle statement that you respect the meeting, that you are not going to be distracted during this meeting, because the meeting is the most important thing that you are doing at the time. And it's really important to subtly demonstrate that, because other people might pick up on that as well and do the same thing.
Yeah, perfect example of doing that is, I've had the speaker on stage, and when they first came up, they took their phone out of their pocket and said to everybody, "Look, excuse me, everyone, I'm going to turn my phone off. And would you like to do the same thing?" So instead of just saying to everybody, turn your phones off, which most people don't. People don't follow that instruction because quite often they feel that they're being told what to do and they don't want to do it because everyone wants to be in control. So if you actually make that statement where you go, "Oh, geez, I'll just turn my phone off," would everybody else like to do the same thing? Because what I want to talk to you about today is quite important. I want to be able to hear and get responses from everybody. So I'm making sure my devices. So you might play it up a little bit, make it a little theatrical in the process. Yeah. But it gets people to realize that, yes, you're thinking of them.
Yes.
You might be speaking to 1,000 people on stage. Even more important there for each person, because we know that when we look at an audience and we talk to them, we look at a group of people and we get a group of people together and we look straight at them and we start a sentence and finish the sentence while we're looking at them. And then we go to the next group and then we make the next statement. People then feel that you are actually talking to them. They're in a room with 10,000 people, but they still feel that they're the most important person because they feel that you spoke directly to them.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Actually, a good friend and colleague of mine was saying the other day that she realized that she couldn't read books anymore because she was checking her phone every 30 seconds or so. And so when she realized that, she just stopped and put it in a different room and started reading books again. And she said it's so liberating. It's so fantastic. Just reading a book, the simplicity of reading a book and allowing the brain to actually engage with the content of the book without having to check your bloody phone. It's remarkable how they've come to dominate our lives, and their interruptions have become the new normal. Being interrupted is normal.
We talk about wanting to be efficient, and the problem is that it's almost a record now that every 6 minutes there's a beep on our phones of some form, whether it be from TikTok or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever other apps we've got on there, or emails and other things. If that distracts us, it distracts everybody else in the room as well. So all of a sudden we lose a lot of efficiency because now we've got to get back to that same energy level that we had before that interruption. Now, if you do go and have a look at your phone and then come back to what you were doing before, it's somewhere between 23 and 24 minutes to get back to full productivity again. So with all those interruptions through the day, how many hours are you losing for having all your notifications on? I have now set standards. In the morning, I will get up. I'll have certain times when I'll have my emails checked, etc., my social media, etc. I'll go and have a look at those, and I will not look at them when I'm doing other things, and especially when I'm on a call with somebody, say on Zoom or video calls or whatever, or I'm talking face to face. That phone is turned off.
Actually, sorry, Alan.
Yeah, it's like when you've got call waiting on a phone, for instance, as well. That I got rid of. I found that the rudest thing that you can have, because quite often you just see a number on it when you're talking to somebody else calls in, and you go, oh, hang on a moment, I've got to answer this other call. You don't even know who the other person was. So you're telling the person you were talking to, this person who you don't even know who they are is more important than them.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything you've been talking about before, the relationship you built, you've just destroyed it.
Yeah. Do you remember those good old times when we had rotary phones and when we had a busy signal? Somebody would call up and, like I was talking to somebody yesterday, I called them and they didn't answer the phone and I hung up again and said, like, call me when you've got a moment. Let's send a text message. So he knew it was me. I didn't know whether I was in his phone. And he came back and apologized for not being available. And I'm like, you have work, you have life, you have children, don't apologize for not answering the phone immediately. I do not expect you to be available all the time. I said, I want the busy tone back. I want the busy tone back.
Well, the other thing, and culturally, we've come to realize that when if we're doing a meeting or a presentation, whatever, if someone looks at their watch, they're bored. They want to leave the room. But now people are getting emails and text messages on their watches. And so, your watch buzzes, and of course you're going to look at it. And that tells the presenter or the person speaking in the meeting, or that implies that you're bored and you're over it and you want to leave. But in fact, you're just acknowledging a message has come in. And it's a very subtle thing, but it sends a very clear signal that you don't want to be there. Even if you do, it's saying that you don't want to be there. So, it's the very handy device, but it has implications for all of us in those situations.
Yeah. So the important thing I think is to consider, when do I really need to be available and when do I not want to be available? When do I prioritize something else? And it's that whole multitasking thing that we did with regards to listening that we talked in the last episode. If we just need to make a choice, it's about, do we want to be effective or do we want to have connection? How much stuff do we need to get done, or how much more can we relate to the person in front of us? Nobody has ever looked back at the end of their life and said, oh, I wish I'd been more effective and spent more time at the office and done more things. Everybody looks back and said, I wish I had, supported my connections. I had spent more time with the people I loved, and again, it's there find a way. This is my suggestion. Prioritize, like, again, call me when it's really, really important, but I'm going to be unavailable for the next 2 hours. Like have signals that say to the person, to children, the bottom falls out, please call me, but you can have signals. Call me, let the phone ring twice, hang up, and then call again. I know you need to talk to me. Otherwise, I won't. So start looking at what you can do to actually become, on one hand, more effective because you don't interrupt yourself all the time, but also more connected. That would be my suggestion.
Yes, indeed. Totally. Yes.
Okay. Well, we'd just like to thank everybody for being here today. And Angela, would you like to take us out?
So, yes. So find what works for you. There's no hard and fast rule, but let's continue to build bridges of respect, one conversation at a time. Thank you, and please join us next time.